Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 31st day of January in the year 2002. Sure hope you're enjoying your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. Do you believe it's January 31st already? And tomorrow begins February, second month of 2022 already. The first month is gone. It ended with a bang. Hope you didn't get too buried in. I was lucky on my street in Harrison. There was barely any precipitation, and it was very easy to dig out and get out my spot. But other parts of Harrison got 7 inches, Kearney 8 inches, 4 inches in North Arlington and in Lyndhurst, and 8 in Belleville, from what I understand. Not sure about Nutley Bloomfield, but it was a lot. My colleague Michelle got at least a foot in southern central Jersey. So, boy, this was a rough one for a lot of people. So I feel bad. I'm not going to complain about it. And Tony Mondero, as usual, was right on the money. 4 to 8 inches is what he predicted. 4 to 8 inches is what occurred in this storm. So, as you do every Monday evening, you welcome me into your home so that I can talk about this current week's edition. And the front page story this week is a unique one, and I don't want to get too into it because it will defeat the whole purpose of you reading the story. But a couple of months ago, Tom Felty Jr., Brigadier General of the United States Army, who is from Kearney, was a rower, great human being, was in town, and he was up at the Kearney Library for he was bringing some of his materials from the Army to donate to the Kearney Museum. And while I was up there, I had a chance to tour the museum for the first time. In 1985 was the first time I ever got up to the museum to see it, and it was absolutely a fascinating experience to see so much of Kearney's history. But there is one section of the museum that is dedicated to the mayors who have served in Kearney's history. And though I knew this, I was reminded that, number one, though you may not realize it, Kearney has had a female mayor. And in a short period of 14 months, in 1938 and 1939, Kearney actually had 4 mayors. And it could have been even worse, believe it or not, than that. It started out with Arthur Jones, who you can see on the front page right here. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. I'd rather you see Arthur and Therese than me anyway. That's Arthur Jones on the bottom of those 2 headshots. Above him is Therese Jones. And you're looking at this front page. It says 14 months, 4 mayors. Why is there a picture of the Kearney Avenue Bridge? Well, unless you have really looked closely, you may not know that that bridge is called the Jones Memorial Bridge. This is something I learned a long time ago, going back to social studies in 7th grade with Mr. Cacavella. And the thing is, it's the Jones Memorial Bridge because the 2 of them served as mayor of Kearney. In 1938, Arthur Jones started the year as a mayor, and toward the end of the year, he died. And I think it was in October of 1938. And then his wife, Therese, who was, of course, on the top there, was chosen to be his replacement. She served as mayor of Kearney for about 6 weeks, which is really extraordinary. Now, there's more to the story. She doesn't get a number. Every person who served as mayor is the 10th, 11th, 12th. For whatever reason, Therese Jones didn't get that number, at least in the museum. So there's that. Now, here's the other thing, too. I mean, there were 2 other mayors in 1939, okay? And that is because the person who ran against Therese Jones died in office in 1939. And if Therese Jones had run and became mayor of Kearney, you'll see what might have happened to her as well. So without giving away too much, I already have, take a look at this story. It's absolutely fascinating. In a 14-month period, starting with Arthur Jones, then Therese Jones, 4 mayors of Kearney. And one of them was Joseph E. Frobisher Sr., the father of Joseph E. Frobisher Jr., who, of course, was killed in action during the Great War. So I hope you like this. I enjoyed it, doing the research on it. I hope I got it all right. There's a lot of facts and figures to be very, very careful about, but you'll see it when you read it. Starts on page number 1 and then travels to the inside of this week's edition. As we move along, some good news for Bernadette Antonelli and anybody who has ever displayed a banner on your property, especially if you're a business owner on Kearny Avenue. Well, you may recall in November, Bernadette wrote a letter to the editor, and in it she said that when she put up a display banner on her property on Kearny Avenue, where she operates Arlington Tax and Bookkeeping Service, the building inspector, Tony Cesari, asked her to take it down, or she faced a $1,000 fine. The banner was in no way intrusive. You'll see it in a picture when you look at page number 2. And she was ticked off, rightfully. He was threatening her with a $1,000 a day fine if she didn't take it down. A banner saying, well, look, I have a new granddaughter. It wasn't causing any problems. It didn't get in the way of anything. And apparently, he was very rude about it. And he was very, very dismissive, according to Bernadette, called her a liar. Which is not a very wise thing for a town employee to say to anybody, even if they really believe that. But at any rate, the mayor and council read Bernadette's letter, and they were very, very surprised that she would have been fined and that Tony would actually write the letter, but he did. And they changed the ordinance, and that's a good thing. The ordinance has been completely changed, and now if you have a banner, something like that, you can place it up for 30 days. They're not going to come around and find you. But if you keep it up 31 days, you could get yourself in trouble. But 30 days in a 9-month period is better than a $1,000 a day fine, which would have been absolutely beyond ridiculous. So fortunately, that was taken care of. And we thank Bernadette. You know, sometimes you don't realize the power of the press, but this is an example of it. You got something on your mind that's ticking you off, write a letter. We'll put it in the paper, and maybe you can be the agent for change. This is something that, as we move on, was always bothersome to me and to all of us here at the Observer, because our office is at 39 Sealy Avenue, and this road is disgraceful at times, the way people drive. And after the road was paved in the summer, it even got worse. People treat it like an effing speedway. It's unbelievable the way people drive on Sealy Avenue. Mostly going from east to west, but from west to east as well. Remarkably, people drive ridiculously fast. And if that light changes at Kearny Avenue and Sealy Avenue, people take it as a cause to speed up, not slow down. The good news is the town adopted an ordinance. They're putting 4-way stop signs on Sealy and Chestnut and Rutherford. So this should do a good job of curtailing what has been a serious issue over many years here in the town of Kearny. So take a look at the story. I'm very happy, and I'm sure the residents who spoke with the police department about this, Chief King, and the mayor and council will be just as happy. This story I wish I didn't have to write, but the young man who was accused of killing his 2-month-old baby daughter in North Arlington is out on bail. I don't know how. I don't know what judge would release a man charged with first-degree murder, but apparently someone in Bergen County did. I remember when I first saw his arrest when he was remanded. I shouldn't say he was remanded because it was on $500,000 cash bail. So I don't know whether that amount remained the same or if it was raised. It should have been, because $500,000 is not enough for first-degree murder. No bail is acceptable when you're charged with first-degree murder. But I guess money talks, and somehow this guy got out. He is out on an ankle monitor. And apparently, according to NJ.com and NorthJersey.com, he's staying with his parents in Dover. So there's that. I guess if you own a home in Dover, you could probably put it up, mortgage it for $500,000, and get your son out of jail instead of being in jail where he should be until he's put on trial and hopefully found guilty of murder. Yeah, I'm saying it. And please don't say that that this is similar to the other situation either. I don't want to hear it. But the bottom line is this guy's out. He's in Dover right now, and the bail seemed to be only $500,000. They took it down off the records page. There's a website where you can check and see what a person's bail is if they're incarcerated or if they've been released, and it said $500,000, but it's crossed off now. So I don't have an answer as to exactly how much he paid to get out or his family paid to get him out. But just keep it in mind, this man who stands accused of killing his 2-month-old baby is now free as a bird and staying at his parents' home in Dover. Kearney police blotters interesting this week, including a situation where Detective Jordy Jean, our buddy, ordered somebody to drop the cheese, and he did, and he recovered a dozen packages of Galbani. So that was a good one. Jordy Jean was working at ShopRite when this happened. He's a good guy, a really great detective too. So hope you'll check that out. This other story comes to us. It's a little Rutherford connection, but it's also a Kearney connection. A tow truck operator for Nick's in Rutherford was driving along the Jersey Turnpike, and he was in Kearney when he saw a car veer off the road. And he pulled his truck over, and he pulled the guy out of the car, which had been completely engulfed in flames, and saved him from being in the car as it exploded. As he was pulling the guy away, the car completely blew up. So this was one of those feel-good stories that this young man, who is the son-in-law of the owner, Nick Testa, was able to save a person's life as he was driving along the Jersey Turnpike. I don't know about you, but if I'm driving along and I see a car veer off the road and then catch flames, I don't know if I'm stopping to help. I don't know if I have the courage to do it. What about you? Would you do it? I don't know. I want to think I would, but you just don't know until you hit a situation like that. So check that out. My buddy Ron Lear has a story about how the Board of Education in Belleville has purchased a property on Cortlandt Street and will convert it into a rec facility for students, especially the wrestling team. I think it's going to do a lot of stuff over there. So this is a really good one. It looks like it was a pretty solid investment on the part of the Belleville Board of Education. So check that out as well on page number 8. Jim Haig has sports, including Lyndhurst story. Let's see what else he's got. A Kearney-related story and an athlete of the week from the North Arlington High School Kearney Co-op hockey team. So check those out when you get a chance. And believe it or not, that's about it. 2 pages of classifieds, as we do every week. Hope you check that out. So if you're looking for a job, if you are looking for an apartment, anything of that nature, you'll probably find it in this week's classified section, only in the Observer. It is about 13 minutes past the hour. Kevin Knessy here with you on this Monday evening. That's going to do it for now, and we will see you back here 1 week from tonight. That, of course, is barring any breaking news that happens during the course of the week, at which point we will join you live from wherever it is. But I hope you all stay warm. It's supposed to warm up on Thursday and Friday, so fingers crossed. I'd like to see it hit the 50-degree mark in early February. From the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, it's Kevin Knessy signing off for now, and we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.